take the whole of your life and put it through the lens of you create your own reality. And imagine that that's the only reason God sent you to earth. That's it, just to learn that. And just stand in the middle here and imagine, I want you up here on the top deck of your, I don't want you going into the first floor so that you walk up to everybody you know and say, you're part of me creating my reality. Don't go there. Don't go there. I want you in the world of, let me see, there's got to be a larger reason why things happen as they do. I may not understand it, and God's not going to tell me, but the truth is I need to learn how to use the power of my soul. I need to learn how to do this. Why? Because that's what this moment in time is all about. That's it. That we are the engines of co-creation. All life breathes together. We are learning that there's new laws of creation are downloading. Just like thousands of years ago, new laws downloaded when Buddha came, new laws downloaded with Jesus. This is the first time in the history of humanity where the laws that are downloading are not religious laws. They are organic, nature, survival laws. They are mystical laws. They are laws that match what our biology needs. They are laws of creation that work for the whole of life. That's a big mouthful. But if you look at every single thing that happens through that one lens, I create my reality. What choices did I make? How am I doing this? And you think, this is, what's the best way I can teach this? I'm so excited about this, I could jump out of my body, but it's hard to organize it. It's hard to organize 40 years of, we'll do it this way. Yeah. I got to take you back to the building. What I learned is that I had this frustration in healing, with people trying to figure out, why wouldn't people want to heal? Why wouldn't people want to make that leap into wanting to be better, wanting to get better? What was that? And what I realized was that for all of the healing efforts that and all the many things we've learned through the many, many decades, that the healing information has been available to us, we are not as strong and healthy as we should be. That in fact, the world has become more toxic and not healthier. That we've become more drug addicted instead of less, right? What's the missing link in us? We are the only generation that has ever questioned the existence of God, to weave two things together. We're the only generations that have ever decided that we can rewrite the structure of the universe. That we can decide, as many people have said to me, you know what, I don't believe in evil, but I believe in good. I don't believe in this, but I believe in that. We are the only generations that have ever said, people will say, I'll ask people what they believe in. And people will tell me with greater conviction what they do not have faith in, but they can't tell me what they do have faith in. I have been with people all over the world, and the number of people suffering from depression and crises has gradually gone like this over the decades, like this. It hasn't diminished, regardless of the increase in therapy, regardless of the increase in openness to go to therapy, regardless of medication. And about 15 years ago, I thought, what the heck is going on here? And then I realized, these people are not depressed. This is a spiritual crisis, not a psychological one. And that people do not recognize they're in a spiritual crisis. This is the name of my book, is The Power of Holy Language. We don't use holy language anymore. And more to the point, we're afraid of it. We're afraid of it. We don't use words that need to return to our vocabulary because we have thrown out the baby with the bathwater. Much about religion we needed to get away from, but mystical language, no. We need words like sacred. We need words like holy. You are wired to seek holy experiences. You're wired for it. Your soul is drawn to sacred bling. It's drawn to it. You're absolutely drawn to it. And I'll tell you something else. All this seeking people do, seeking, whatever, you are, all of you, in your own way, in whatever organic way you shape your inner world. Every one of you wants to hear God call you by name. Every one of you. Every single one of you wants to know that your life is not an accident, that you're here for something, that your life matters in some way, that it matters. One of the reasons we don't heal is because we think if we do heal, the way we suffered won't matter. So we don't let our suffering go. Because it means we don't matter. And if there's one thing, if we can't hold on to accomplishments, at least we'll hold on to suffering. Because then we matter. Because we have to matter to somebody or something. Because then we make our suffering matter. Doesn't it matter? And we can't get over that that doesn't matter. We just can't get over. Doesn't it matter? And what I have observed in the last 35 years is that the way in which we suffer has changed. It's changed. It's deepened. Our suffering has a psychic texture to it, and I'll tell you why. Because we ask spiritual questions and you don't get it. We now say things like, I wonder what the purpose of my life is. I wonder what it is. I wonder what the purpose of my life is. And we ask that, and you think that's a question. I'm sure some of you, one or two of you, has asked that question. One or two? Yes or no? Well, I have to tell you the good news. It's not a question, it's a prayer. Why, God, did you give me this life? If you ask a question, what's the purpose of my life? Who do you think is qualified to answer that? Just as an aside, who do you think is qualified? Your mommy? Your mom can tell you how you got here, but not why you're here. The question of for what reason do I have life goes directly to God. Goes directly to God. So what do you think happens when you ask a prayer like that? What do you think happens? Okay, so I have to tell you, this is what happens. Here's your angel. So here you are saying, oh, what the hell? What's going on with my life? Yeah. And here's your angel. And then, I'm so unhappy. Here's your angel. I'm going to throw myself down a bridge. Christ, you're a pain in the ass. And then, one day, you say, what am I doing here? You actually utter a prayer. And you mean it, not because you're just having a pissy fit. But there's something deeper going on. And your angel goes, all right, let's go to work. All right. All right, Junior, let's go. Let's play ball. And what happens then, so you aren't going to be like told, so this is what I'm going to do. I don't want you to be upset. I don't want to upset you, you're so delicate. Because that's not how heaven works. You poor little delicate thing. It goes like this. Up until now, you've been kind of sniffing around, making choices based on what you want, what you imagine your life, what you think, how you think your life should be. But I always thought, here's your angel, who cares what you thought? Okay? When you finally said, for what reason did you give me life? You're saying, let my soul loose. Let my soul loose. So your angel says, I have to clean up the mess you've made. So we have to start with cleaning up all the choices you make that do not apply to the life you are now going to live. Now, this little transition might be a little messy. Whoa, could be really messy. You're in the wrong job, I'm going to get you fired. Shut up. I'm not sure you're in the right partnership, it's not equal. So, one of you has to leave. You want to do it, or should we arrange a divorce? What do you want? Because, you know, like, it doesn't bother me. I'm not fussy. But, hey, I am going to make you miserable. If you don't have the guts, we'll make him leave. So, I mean, it's not fussy. It's not a big deal. We'll work it out. You work it out. Which one? I'm not kidding you. I'm not kidding you. Not kidding. So you think, and there you are. I don't know. I don't like my job. I got trust. It's just, oh, for Christ's sake, that does it. Goes in there and says, fire. Ding, out. You come home and you think, how could they fire me? And you're like, how could you? So easy, so effortless. Getting you fired is a day at the beach. Now, this is what I mean by you take everything literally and you have no idea what's really going on. This is one you should actually say. Like I have so many times, I have actually stopped in the middle of anything, anywhere, and said, only God could screw up my life this much in one day. And I've actually stood and said, I know what's going on. Because like, no human being could do this. They're not that clever. I mean, my car's gone, this is gone, that's gone. You've got to be kidding. And that's when I start laughing. Because I think, you are up to something. Can you not just make it happen? Why are you doing this? Because it's like so difficult. You have my attention. You have to really be more imaginative. But when you have to be more imaginative, let me give you some some holy instructions. One of the characteristics of our time now is that we have to live what we know to be the truth. We have to live it. What are the things you know to be true? You know that what is in one is in the whole. That's a fundamental teaching in holistic health. Do you not know that? You know that. But what does that mean? When we look at what's happening in our world, in our countries, in nature, get to the penthouse. I'm going to give you great, big, huge ideas, great, big, huge truths. You are made up of the same elements as the earth. You are fire, you are water, you are air, you are earth, you are metal. Down here on the first floor, you look like this. You look like flesh and bones. But the truth, the higher truth is, you are the elements. You are breath, and you are water, you are air, you are the elements. We are comprised of elements. We are part of the molecular structure of the great body of Earth. And what we've done over the last centuries, but especially this last one, is that we developed this idea that we're no longer part of nature, but observers of nature. Nature's over there. We have to go into the forest to go visit nature because we're no longer standing on nature. We have to go hug a tree. Jesus. We have decided we have to dominate nature. That if something can't reason like us, it has no value. And we could do with it whatever we want. Now, along with that creed, we've taken ourselves out and decide, I'm not sure I believe in God, I'll do that. And in the meantime, we do this, which is we also tell ourselves, but I was born for something special. I'm not sure there's a God, but I know I was born for something special. Really, how'd that happen? I mean, would you have an in with this God you don't believe in or something? I don't get what your theology is. You know that you were born for something special. You have no idea what you have faith in, but you don't believe there's a God. Tell me how this works. Tell me how this works. This is absolutely the potpourri ingredients that are in the minds of people today. This kind of something uncertainty about how they work, what they believe, where the nature of God is, what the nature of what they believe is. It's all over the place. It's absolutely all over the place. But what is absolutely true is that what makes this so critical is that I believe we've reached this moment where it's important for us to connect the dot that we need to take what we know, like in healing, and start to connect to each other. Start to connect to communities. Start to connect and take the truths that we've been learning all along, and they, like threads in us, and begin to connect these threads of healing, begin to connect these threads of truth, like all life breathes together, like what is in one is in the whole, like all is one. And these are the truths that are going to become the fibers of the collective new spiritual organic religion, if you want to call it religion, a new organic spirituality. These are the same truths that live in your bio-spiritual self. If you go to a holistic physician, you have to understand all your body breathes together. That's the same truth of nature. But it's also the same truth with us. When I look at spiritual depression, and I wonder, why is everyone suffering from depression when so much is available to help us? What's the missing link with everybody? It's not that you don't have a therapist to go to. It's not that you don't have good food. You have all of that. You know what you don't have? You don't have each other. You don't have each other. You don't have that next link that we do not have, which is the link to community, spiritual, sacred community. You don't have the link back to holy language together. You don't have the link to be with each other. That the reason that you heal is in order to heal together, to heal each other. And as I started to tell you earlier, I did start to tell you earlier this when I started lecturing about I don't know if I told the 5 o'clock group this, or I've told stories so much I'm forgetting where, about rosary groups. Did I tell you that? Well, and I'm not telling you to start rosary groups. I'm not doing this. What I am going to tell you is this, and that's that what everybody does need is a group in which you gather and say, I need prayers for this. And where you pray for each other. And you might get together once every 2 weeks. And in those prayers, and I'm not telling you to say like Catholic prayers, Christian prayers, where you just get together and say, God, bless us, and we need grace for this. We need to close the gap that says the reason I'm healing is just for me. The reason you want to be a whole, healthy person is to help everybody else. It's not just for you. You want to reconnect yourself to the whole. Am I making sense to you? Because what is in one is in the whole. You want that connection. It's like being an atom that's a molecule that's not connected to something. What is in one is in the whole. What we do to the least of anybody, we do to ourselves. Everything breathes together. We really need to get that we are on the internet. The spiritual depressions that I see are from this, I think a lot of it is rooted in this paradox of people saying, I want to be, I create my own reality, and misusing that powerful teaching as I have permission to do whatever I want, go wherever I want, be whatever I want. And it's backfired. It's backfired because that's not what that teaching is about. It's not about just leave me alone, I can do whatever I want because I create my own reality. That's not what that teaching's about. That teaching should draw us ever more closely together in a more intimate world, because when you realize, oh my God, I am part of co-creating this reality. We have to do a really good job together because we're all doing this. It shouldn't send us all on our independent walkabouts. It should send us on our walk towards. Because we're all co-creating our world together. And what I think has happened is it's made us afraid of each other. It's made us afraid to approach each other. It's made us feeling like we have to have this way of being too independent, like we don't need each other, and we've lost how to be together and how to be in relationship with each other, how to be functional as community. Am I making sense to you? So I think that's one of the great crises of our time. And I think that we are at that stage now where I think we have to start taking charge of our planetary healing by realizing we are part of co-creating the healing engine. And that we have to do it through how we breathe together, literally. We have to do that. And it's all by how we direct our attitude, how we direct our prayers, how we direct ourselves with and for each other. And it's a vital, vital time. I believe that deeply. I believe that deeply. just like, when I look at, well, I do. And I think that the world is going to change, and it's changing faster per week than it used to over 5 years. And if you came to me with, like, today autism is on the rise, and bipolar, and all kinds of these are energetic challenges. Energetic. And today, if someone tries to treat an energetic disorder with biochemical medicine, it's not going to work. And I don't know how many of you have an autistic member of the family, or a friend, or have any kind of neurological energetic challenge. I don't know. How many of you do? Anybody? Okay, look how common it is. What you need to really understand, perhaps, is that this is a challenge that is the result of the transition we're in my opinion, and that it's a challenge of time and space. It's a challenge of how we are in this period of adjustment, and that in dealing with autism, it's a perceptual challenge, and that think of this as vertical time, timelessness. Think of it as whenever you, I get it. Whenever you get something, when you get something, you feel like, it's the speed of light that goes right through you. And sometimes when you really get something, it goes through you in a flash, and you actually feel it in your body and your bones simultaneously. You get chills. You get this sort of whoo, and it goes all the way through you. Can you relate to what I'm saying here? But if you also think about when you get something that fast, if I could put that in slow motion, your life changes very rapidly as soon as that light comes through you. Because in getting something, it means that the way your life was right before you got it is over. Did I say that? Did you get it? Okay, as soon as I got that, then the way it was before is gone. I've just evaporated this world because this world replaced it. Are you with me? To say it differently, and it's a big deal that you get this, I just changed my whole world at the speed of light. Okay?